Now, it's time for Tech Talk brought to you by Refresh Computers with your host, David Leavitt.
Welcome to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Casey Ryan here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computers. Refresh Computers Superstore. You can contact them by calling their free tech support hotline. That's right, it's free, which is also their store number, 407-478-8200. That's 407-478-8200. You can also visit their website at refreshcomputers.net. That's refreshcomputers.net. We'll go over all the deals today in the third segment of the show, which you can check out on that website, or you can visit their store at 820 East State Road 434 in Longwood. It's just 3.5 miles east of I-4 on 434. David, good morning. Why don't you tell the good folks at home the hours for your store today?
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We're very happy you're listening in. We have a really good show today for you. Our store hours are every Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. and every Sunday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. So we're there for you every single day of the week for any of your computing needs, whether it's a repair or whether it's to buy a new laptop, computer, accessories. We have it all at the Refresh Computer Store in Longwood.
And you could also check them out on social media at Facebook and YouTube at Refresh Computers, Instagram as well, Refresh Computers USA. All right, David, our first segment of the day is always the tech topic of the week. And this week, it's more insight for those listeners about Windows products and the Windows key, more specifically this week. Why don't you start and go into how those are going to help people out?
Well, there's, your keyboard's full of keys, right? Mm-hmm. Numbers, letters, symbols. The one key on your keyboard that is the most useful key by far is probably the key that most people don't use.
Which one is that?
That's the Windows key.
And you are absolutely right.
That is the little key that has a Windows logo on it. There are so many things that Microsoft and their programmers did concerning that key that are very helpful. As a matter of fact, if you go to refreshcomputers.net, click on the radio show button there, you will see this text that we're talking about, and in there will be a link to a site that shows you all of the useful things that this Windows key can do. So there's a lot. But we're going to just talk about a couple of them today because I think these are really cool. So, on your mobile device, your phone, you are texting somebody, or sometimes you're writing an email, but you're not really writing. You're talking. You're using text to speech. Mm-hmm. Speech to text.
Yeah, voice text, whichever way. There's a million different terms for it.
So there is a way to do that on your computer that I bet a lot of people are not aware of, and that's using the Windows key with the letter H. So if you hold the Windows key down and just touch the letter H, you will see a little screen that pops up, and this works with Windows 10 or Windows 11, by the way. Simply hold the Windows key and press the letter H. When you have anything open on your computer or laptop, such as a Word document or a note or even an email opened up, Windows H will recognize your voice and dictate automatically by converting your voice to text in whatever document or program you have opened on your computer. So I think by now you are used to, like I mentioned earlier, doing this on your phone.
Right.
If you have a decent microphone, and it works really well, by the way, if you have a decent microphone on your computer, you can use this voice-to-text capability on your computer and possibly save a lot of time.
Now, my question, David, is, so with this voice-to-text, now I have a Microsoft computer at home, but I don't necessarily have, as far as I know, a speaker. Does the CPU actually have a speaker built in it already, or do you have to go out and buy an extra speaker?
Well,
or microphone, rather.
Well, microphone. Yeah, most desktops will not have a microphone built in, so you would probably need to get a external microphone, USB microphone. You just plug it in. Or it'll work with your headset if you have a headset connected to your computer. As long as the headset has a microphone, it'll work with that as well. And the cool thing is, Casey, is there's no setup required to do this. Basically all you need to have is a microphone, either built in or connected to your computer. You hold down that Windows key, press the letter H, and then you will see what I'm talking about. It's a little window dictation pops up, usually in the lower middle part of your screen. And before you start using it, you may want to press the little gear icon. There's not much to set up in there. There's a little gear icon that comes up on the left of this little pop-up when you press Windows and H to make a simple settings change. And this setting change automatically triggers the microphone icon to appear on your screen, if you want it to do that, whenever you are inside anything you can type text into. So you can have this automatically turned on so you don't have to hit Windows H every time you want to do that. This little screen will pop up and it'll have a little microphone thing to click on automatically. So it's not going to automatically start recording when you're in a text mode. When you turn this feature on, it'll give you the option of clicking, just clicking on the little microphone icon you'll see in the middle of your screen down at the bottom. Just a really small little icon. And that's the way, if you use this feature a lot, you can turn on this is called the voice type launcher, so that you don't have to use the Windows H key to start dictating every single time. So while you're here in the settings, you may also want to turn on automatic punctuation. But personally, I find that feature a bit annoying myself, because it'll put commas in the middle of sentences that don't really need a comma or shouldn't have a comma, and you'd have to go back and change it. You can actually say the word exclamation point, and it'll print an exclamation point. It won't type out the words.
Right. Yeah. I've seen that work sometimes. Sometimes it hasn't, just depending on what device. But yeah, it's pretty smart to where it'll just write your whole paragraph for you.
Yeah. And this voice type launcher that we're talking about, that's what they call it, will have that built in, and it's just a really, really cool feature. I think you'll like this feature a lot, especially if you like to use voice to text on your mobile phone, like we were talking about earlier. It's a handy way to use voice to text on your Windows device, including Windows-based tablets. So a lot of people have the tablets that are Windows-based, and since those are mobile devices, and a lot of people like to use voice to text on their mobile device.
And those will have the microphones built in.
Those have the microphones built in every single case. So there's other things that you can do. Again, if you go to refreshcomputers.net, click on the radio show link, you'll see a link inside there for today's show that will give you all of the Windows, the breakdown of all the different types. There's like 48 of them or something like that. There's a lot. There's a lot.
You could spend a whole day.
You could. So how about another one? We got time to speak about another Windows key feature. And this was one of my favorites, Casey. It's for the longest time when I copy stuff, and when people, if you copy something, you paste it, you think to yourself, oh, geez, if I could have just pasted the thing I copied 2 copies ago instead of, we all know, I think most of us know that, Control C is copy, and then Control V is paste.
Right. Use it every day.
Yeah. So Control V will paste the last thing that you copied, right? So, but there's a cool thing you can do with the Windows key. So instead of using Control V for paste, try using Windows key and then the letter V. And so what you will see is like magic, right? It'll actually allow you to paste you can choose from several of the things that you've last copied, including pictures and things like that. So it's a really cool feature, but you have to turn it on first. So the first time that you use Windows V key, your computer will prompt you to turn it on. So just go ahead and turn it on. So up until that point, it's not remembering everything. So that's something to remember. To remember, you actually have to turn this feature on, because if you don't and you hit Windows V, it's only going to show the last thing you copied.
Right.
So it'll work just like Control V. So go ahead and turn it on. It doesn't hurt anything. And to see all of the recent clips that you copied, again, hold the Windows key and press V, and you will see a list of all the things that you copied previously, including photos, and simply click on the one you want, and it will paste. And there's another cool feature. So, of course, Control V is pretty basic.
Right.
The Control key plus a key are basic.
Pretty
commands.
standard.
Yeah. But the Windows key plus a key are expanded features of what you're doing. So Windows V, you can also select from a list of currency symbols. So maybe you want to print the British pound symbol, right, or the euro symbol. It'll be listed in there, and you can, when you hit Control V, there's a tab at the top, currencies, and then currency symbols, and you can click the currency symbol that you want. It has math symbols, like if you want to do 2/5 or 1/3 or whatever, to look like,
Right.
1/3. And
So the possibilities are endless. And one thing that comes to mind with the Command V would be if you're making some sort of a pricing sheet or a list sheet, and you're copying and pasting so many things so many times because you want to repeat the nomenclature, but then all of a sudden, you want to go back to the next one. So instead of transferring pages, by using the Command V, you'll have everything that you copied and pasted already there.
Windows
V, sorry.
Yeah,
by using the Windows V, you'll have everything that you've already done, and you can just go back in there and stay in the same place so you don't lose your spot. So, really for, a memory aspect, and then to sort of get production done faster, something that it would help us here at the station all the time for that would be is if we're doing a repetitive story or we're doing something a lot, and we're able to not only rewrite something, we're able to see what we had written in the past, and even in the morning. So a lot of different, aspects of this is actually going to be really helpful.
So, so don't forget the two that we talked about today. We're not going to have time to talk about more. So it would be the Windows key and then press the letter V, which will allow you to paste from several different copies. Mm-hmm. It'll actually display all of them as long as you have this feature turned on. So first you have to turn it on, and you'll see all the prior copies that you did. I'm not sure if there's even a limit to how many are in there. You can
we
just
could test that out
and see.
Yeah, we can test that out.
We could. But it'll also remember photos, and you can also paste emojis. If you want to put an emoji in a document or an email that you're typing and you don't want to use an emoji keyboard and try to look for it, just hit Windows V, and you'll see a whole list of emojis you can insert inside your text. So, the engineers at Microsoft did a wonderful job with this little used key, the Windows key. And so, check out that. Again, go to the website, refreshcomputers.net, click on the radio show, check out the link that we will have in there that goes to another site, by the way, that shows a lot of useful features using that Windows key.
And we also want to remind everybody before we go to break here that this show in its entirety is going to be recorded and posted as a podcast. So if you do miss some parts of today's show, you want to go back and listen to what we talked about, as well as going onto the website at the same time to learn about these Windows keys. David, tell them where they can go.
Oh, good point, Casey. And so we have on our website a link to a podcast. And so this show in its entirety, minus the commercials, is available via podcast immediately after the show ends on Sunday at 9 a.m. So you can go to refreshcomputers.net. There's a podcast link right at the top of the page. Click on that. You can listen in to everything we discussed today, as well as several of the shows that we had in the past.
And we will have more Tech Talk coming your way right after this break with the repair theme of the week. You're listening to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM580. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM580. I'm Casey Wright, along with president and founder of the Refresh Computer Superstore, David Leavitt.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This segment has to do with repairs. So this is the repair theme of the week. And it has to do with the most common types of laptop repairs that we encounter at Refresh Computers. So I thought that would be an interesting topic to cover, so that you can see and hear about all of the things that we work on concerning laptops. Well, this certainly isn't all, but these are a list of things that we do most often, I would say. I would say broken LCD screens is probably number one.
Major.
So most laptop screens are replaceable, by the way, and depending on the value of your laptop, it may or may not be economical to fix it, but in many cases it is, and we will let you know that up front before charging you anything. So, you can make the decision on whether or not you would want to repair your laptop screen.
Right.
And another common laptop issue is broken laptop hinges. It's a very common occurrence in almost every consumer-grade laptop made. This is why, Casey, we love to sell the commercial variety of laptops, because the hinges are different.
They're very delicate, right? I mean, it's very easy to snap them off.
They're very easy. And many of the consumer-grade laptops have plastic hinges. And many that have a little metal in them are screwed to the lid in the base with cheap little screws into the plastic.
So there's somewhere or another from the main brands it's coming with plastic.
It's coming with plastic, screwed into the plastic, and that's typically where it's going to break. It's not actually the hinge breaking. It's where the screw is screwed into the plastic of the laptop.
Right, because it just can't mount the amount of pressure.
It can't. And again, that's mostly on consumer grade, and we rarely see that on commercial grade laptops like the Dell Latitude you will find in our stores. Okay. Another problem we've spoken about before, broken power jacks. So we've discussed this, and always unplug your power adapter before you're moving your laptop, if you can remember to unplug it before moving your laptop.
Yeah.
A lot of people just forget. They go to move their laptop and it's still plugged in. They snap off the little power jack. And again, the difference between commercial and consumer grade laptops is that in many of the commercial grade laptops, if the DC power jack is broken, it's just replacing that little part inside the laptop.
Right.
On a consumer grade laptop, the DC power jack is soldered to the motherboard, and you snap off the motherboard, forget it, end of laptop.
Right. So it's one's protected and one's not.
So that's a big difference there. Liquid damage is another issue that we see a lot, and we almost always recommend replacing the entire motherboard, because anything that we might be able to fix in a liquid damaged laptop today could still affect things down the circuit of that motherboard a week from now, a month from now.
We spoke about that one crazy repair a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly. The same.
That actually ended up still working out.
It did.
But for the most part, that doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. So another common problem is no sound or faulty sound. Sometimes you get a little static coming out of your speakers, and all laptops come with these little tiny speakers. That's what produces the sound in them, and they can go bad. And it's not rare for your laptop speakers to go bad. And we replace laptop speakers all the time, and it's a relatively inexpensive repair. Sometimes it's just a sound driver that needs to be updated, but oftentimes it's the actual speaker themselves that need to be replaced. Another common problem with laptops and all computers actually is they're running slow or they're sluggish. And this is something that can be caused by several different reasons. So we usually ask customers to bring in their laptop so that we can give a free diagnostic as to what's causing it to run so slowly. And then we will let you know what the cost would be to get it up to speed. Oftentimes it's like $35 if it's something fairly simple. And then the customer will be able to decide whether they want to go forward with the repair or not.
And another thing that I had, one more thing before we go to break here, is something that I've experienced myself. In laptops, there's obviously an internal battery that you charge. I have had several that have had to get batteries serviced. Now, I wanted to ask and see if that's a common thing, because most of the times the laptop's old enough to where I'll just usually trash it and get a new one, which is what most people probably do. If you have a laptop that's been around for, let's say, 5 to 10 years and it says battery needs to be serviced, is that normal? Is that something that you should get done?
Well, that is normal, and that probably should be on the list for today.
Absolutely.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't know if that's a common thing or not, because it hasn't happened to all of the laptops I've owned, but it is something that affects the performance of the laptop, because it becomes a desktop because you can never unplug it.
Right, exactly. So, we replace laptop batteries all the time. Almost every laptop made has a replaceable battery. They're not as easy to replace as they used to be. They used to just plug in the back, right? And you can unplug them and plug in a new battery. Today, most laptops have the battery, a sealed battery inside the laptop. So you got to unscrew, 20 screws or something just to get to the battery to replace it. But we do that as well. We actually have a lot of laptop batteries in stock. Others we have to order, and we do that service at Refresh Computers, replacing laptop batteries. That is a very common occurrence for laptops as well. So Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course. Folks, you heard it here. Any of those repairs that you need to get done, Refresh Computers can do them all for you. More Tech Talk coming your way here on WDBO after news, weather, and traffic.
Now, it's time for Tech Talk brought to you by Refresh Computers with your host, David Leavitt.
Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Casey Wright here with President and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, David Leavitt. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by using their free tech support hotline. Yep, that's right, free tech support hotline, which is also their store number, at 407-478-8200. That is 407-478-8200. You can visit their website at refreshcomputers.net. We'll get more into that in just a moment. You can visit their Longwood Superstore at 820 East State Road 434 in Longwood, just 3.5 miles east of I-4 on 434. David, why don't you tell the good folks at home your hours for your store?
Well, welcome back, everybody. The store hours for the Refresh Computer Superstore are every Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. and every Sunday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. And don't forget, this show is recorded and it turns into a podcast that airs at 9 a.m. every Sunday. So you can go to refreshcomputers.net, click on the podcast link at the top of the screen, and you can play back this show in its entirety, minus all of the commercials. So this way, if you miss some points in the beginning of the show when we talked about the use of the Windows logo key on your keyboard, some really cool tricks there, you can go back and listen again and pick those up, as well as some common laptop repairs that we just finished discussing.
And you could also check out Refresh Computers on social media at Facebook and YouTube at Refresh Computers and Instagram at Refresh Computers USA. All right, it's time, David, for the deals of the week, and we got some Dell Outlet deals going on right now. Why don't you start with those?
Well, thank you, Casey. And, a few months ago, Dell reached out to us, and I got a phone call from Dell, and they inquired on us being a reseller of Dell Outlet products. And they noticed our website and the fact that we sell a lot of refurbished computers, and there was a lot of Dell refurbished computers that we have out there.
Right.
Of course, besides the Dell Outlet deals, all of the computers at Refresh Computers are refurbished by our own folks at Refresh Computers. So we do a really good job at that, and we have for over 2 decades now. So when Dell reached out to me wanting to know if we would want to stock and sell Dell Outlet, direct from Dell computers in our store, I said, well, there's a couple things that we have to make sure of. And I guess the biggest thing is that my customers can still get a really good deal in my store, right? And so they guaranteed that would happen. And so, I'd say about maybe once a week or so, I get a list from Dell, direct from Dell, saying these are the deals I think that you might be interested in, right? And so I pick them up, and, if we can make a few bucks off of them and my customers get a great deal, why not?
It's all worth it.
Because one of the benefits of selling the Dell Outlet desktops and laptops and monitors is because they are all the current models, right? So they're this year's models, laptops.
Right.
Some of them are last year's, but still new. They're like new. They're considered Dell refurbished, but I'm telling you, most of them are, they look like new,
out of the box.
Right. So they're in the box. And so we're going to talk about some of those deals that we have in the store right now. So every single item that I'm going to talk about during this segment is in stock, and you can also see them on our website at refreshcomputers.net. Click the shop button. There's a little category there called Dell Outlet Deals. You click that and you will see a desktop category and a laptop category. In the desktop category, you will also see the monitors, right? So I'm going to start with the Dell Outlet monitors. We have right now the Dell Outlet 24-inch ultra sharp IPS LED. So that's the latest LED type of LCD monitor. It has both VGA and HDMI ports for only $139.99. And that's a great deal for a new or like new current model.
Oh, yeah.
Dell 24-inch ultra sharp monitor, $139.99. We also have the Dell Outlet 32-inch 4K LCD monitor, right? Good for gaming. It's only $329.99. That's for a 32-inch monitor, Casey. It comes with 2 HDMI ports and 1 display port.
It's incredible. And, you mentioned ultra sharp LED versus 4K. What are the benefits of having 4K over LED if you were to compare the two?
Oh, the number of pixels in the billions as opposed to the millions,
okay.
I guess, in the different number of colors. The 4K monitors are faster response times. So if you're playing video games, they respond better.
Much better,
yeah, much better. So we also have the Dell Outlet 32-inch curved monitor. It has 2 HDMI ports, and it's only $289.99.
And what would make somebody get a curved instead of just a traditional?
Vision, if you're a little vision impaired, maybe,
okay.
because you have a lower field of vision.
Okay.
A smaller field of vision, I should
right.
say, with a curved monitor than you do with the straight monitor.
Okay.
So you actually can see more out of the corner of your eyes, if that makes sense.
Your peripheral vision, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a curved monitor will do for you. We have the Dell Outlet 32-inch for only $289.99, and that's a steal.
Great deal.
We also have another 32-inch that we just got in, and this one is the Ultra Sharp USB-C IPS LED monitor. Okay, so it will plug into your Apple laptop.
Mm-hmm.
It'll plug into any of the latest and greatest computers and laptops that take a USB-C connection. Right, that's that little small tiny plug. Right, it has HDMI port, it has a display port, and of course a USB-C connectivity. And it has a standard resolution of 2560 by 1440. So
is that the highest?
That's not the highest. That's actually considered a 2K monitor.
Okay.
All right. So when you see 2560 by something,
2K.
That's 2K. So it's a 2K monitor, but still very, very sharp. Very sharp. For a 32-inch monitor, it's only $399.99.
Good deal.
So again, all of these deals are on our website. Now let's talk about some of the desktops that we have from the Dell Outlet Center. We have the Dell Outlet Optiplex 3080. Okay, it's a small form factor, so it's about 12 inches by 13 inches by about 4 inches or so. Nice compact little computer. It's an i5 10th gen with a CPU speed of up to 4.6 gigahertz. So super fast, 8 gig of RAM. It has both a 256 gig solid state drive plus a 1 terabyte hard drive. Okay? It has both of those inside,
storage.
Right? Both brand new hard drives and solid state drives. Comes with Windows 11 Pro. This desktop is usually $699.99. Right now, we have them for only $569.99. And we have enough of these in stock. If you have a small office, you might want to stock up if you want to upgrade to some of the later and greater computers. Mm-hmm. We have a Dell Outlet Optiplex 5000, small form factor, so it's the same size, probably about 12 by 13 inches by 4 or 5 inches wide. It's an i5 12th gen, so a little newer generation. It has speeds up to 4.6 gigahertz. This one is packed with 16 gig of RAM and a 256 gig solid state drive with Windows 11 Pro. This is a $980 desktop, Casey, that we have on sale for only $829.99.
Wow, so nearly $1,000 down to close to $800 for that computer. That's pretty good.
It's a really good deal, and we encourage you to come. We have them on display in the store. We have our own Dell Outlet display area, right? So it's just the Dell Outlet deals are all segregated into one area of the store. So what about some laptops? Well, yeah, we have a lot of Dell Outlet laptops in stock. And backed by popular demand, we get a dozen of these in, and we sell a dozen. It seems like really quick. So we just got some more in because we were out. We have the Dell Outlet Inspiron 16, and it is an i5. It's a 16-inch laptop, i5 12th gen, up to 4.4 gigahertz CPU speed. It comes with 8 gig of RAM, 512 gig solid state drive. It's Windows 11. And it's $200 off right now. It's only $699.99.
What makes that one so popular?
the price point for what it comes with. All right, and it's a good looking laptop too, a really good looking laptop. So the Inspiron 16, and again 16-inch laptop, and the size. It's a little bigger screen than the standard laptop. So we also have a 2-in-1 16-inch touchscreen laptop. So the Dell Outlet Inspiron 16 7620 model is a 2-in-1. It comes with an i7 processor, 12th gen, 4.7 gigahertz speed, 16 gig of RAM, 512 gig solid state drive with Windows 11. This is just a super 2-in-1. In other words, it flips all the way over, so you can use it like a tablet, or you can flip it all the way back. You can unfold it just like a laptop. It does not have a detachable keyboard. The keyboard's still attached.
Okay.
But it flips all the way over.
That's awesome.
Right? And flips all the way back. So you can use it either way you want to. That's why they call it a 2-in-1. It's $300 off right now.
Wow.
It's only $819.99. Again, I would not get these laptops from Dell, direct from Dell, unless I knew I can give my customers a really good deal. So these are all good deals. Now, this laptop, I call the mother of all commercial laptops, the one I'm going to talk about next. It's used by engineers, architects, and the like because of its excellent graphics capabilities and durability, all right? So if you are into video rendering, for example, so you're using an AutoCAD program and you're converting your drawings to a video, which a lot of people like to do now, or any kind of video rendering whatsoever, this is the laptop for you, okay? So it's a Precision, the Dell Precision, which is their like super commercial brand, 16-inch. It's a model 7670. It's an i7 12th gen processor. So i7 12th gen processor. It goes up to 4.8 gigahertz. It's loaded with 16 gig of RAM, a 256 gig solid state drive, an NVIDIA RTX A2000 graphics card built in.
I know that.
That helps with the rendering of videos, right? Comes with Windows 11 Pro, and Dell has a list price of this, Casey, of $3,600. All right, we have it at Refresh Computers for $19.99.
I'm sold.
So $19.99.99. This is a great laptop
And a monster deal.
and a great deal. And we have a few of them in stock. So if you need 2 or 3 or 4 for your business, we have them right there in stock at Refresh Computers. I guarantee you will not get a better price than this on this laptop anywhere, not even close to it.
No way.
So that is the mother of all commercial laptops, the Outlet Precision 16 7670. Okay. So we have a few more laptops to talk about. We have the Dell Outlet 15, it's a 15-inch laptop. 5530 is the model. It's an i5 12th gen with 4.4 gigahertz speed on the CPU, 8 gig of RAM, 256 gig solid state drive, Windows 11 Pro, and it's $270 off right now. So just so we can break that $1,000 mark, is $999.99. This is a great business class laptop from Dell. So one more to talk about. That's that Latitude 3520. Whenever you hear me talk Latitude, by the way, that's Dell's commercial laptop grade. That's one of them. The Latitude, Vostro, and Precision are the commercial grades. So this is a Latitude 3520. It's an i3 10th gen. All right, still clocking at 3.4 gigahertz, 8 gig of RAM, 128 gig solid state drive, Windows 11 Pro, and it's $250 off now. It's just $549.99. So this is a like new Dell, direct from Dell laptop sold at Refresh Computers. So another great deal. Great thing about all of these desktops and laptops and monitors they all come with Dell's 1-year on-site factory warranty.
And you can't ask for anything more than that.
No. So if anything goes wrong with it, of course, you can bring it to Refresh Computer Store. We'll even call Dell for you if you want us to. So you don't have to deal with it. So we do those things for our customers. Or you can just take care of it yourself. Dell will come directly to your house if there's any kind of issue whatsoever.
Making it easy for them.
It makes it really easy. So we got time to talk about a few other.
Yeah, go for it.
A few other deals that are Dell branded, brand new in the store. We carry the Dell wireless keyboard and mouse, the very nice combo. It's $39.99. It's right there in stock at Refresh Computers. You also find it on our website, by the way. We have a Dell external USB connected slim DVD player and DVD recorder all in one. So this thing is only about maybe 5 inches by 5 inches by a half an inch thick. That's it. Comes with a little USB cable that plugs right into your laptop or your computer. So it'll play DVDs, it'll burn DVDs, it'll do all that for you. Brand new in the box from Dell, $39.99. So
phenomenal deals, and we've heard all of them here on Tech Talk today. And guess what? We have more Tech Talk coming your way after the 3 big things you need to know. Remember, you can find all these deals on refreshcomputer.net or go visit the Longwood Superstore. More Tech Talk coming your way after this. Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Casey Wright here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore in Longwood. You can contact them by using their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. That's 407-478-8200. Make sure to check out all their deals and our podcast on the refreshcomputer.net website. Just click the radio button for the podcast. Visit the Longwood Superstore at 820 East State Road 434 in Longwood. It's just 3.5 miles east of I-4 on 434. And David, why don't you tell the good folks at home your hours, and we'll get into our final segment of the day, the Business Spotlight.
Well, welcome back again, everybody, to this edition of Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. This is our final segment for the day. And our store hours are every Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. and every Sunday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. We hope to see you there. This segment has to do with businesses who do business with Refresh Computers. And I call it the Business Spotlight because I love business-to-business commerce. Right?
Oh, yeah?
It's the backbone of what keeps many businesses going, including Refresh Computers. So I'll throw that out there. So we appreciate all of these businesses that I am about to mention who visited us this past week. One of them is Osceola County Provisions. They purchased a Dell Optiplex computer. We just talked about some of those. Interval Title Services Incorporated. They are a Florida licensed attorney-owned title insurance agency. They're located in Orlando, and also they have an office in Fort Lauderdale. They purchased several computer monitors with dual monitor stands from us this past week. So if you ever have the need of having 2 monitors side by side but only have the space for 1 stand, we have those stands in stock, and they fit most of the monitors that we sell. We had Richard's Reliable Pull Service of Altamont Springs. They purchased a Dell Optiplex computer. Wonderland Gift Shops, one of my favorite customers. I'll go ahead and throw that out there. They have a nice little shop located in historic Longwood. If you haven't visited that, you should check them out. Just look them up, Wonderland Gift Shops. They have a lot of cool stuff in there. They purchased a Dell Latitude laptop. That's the commercial variety that we were talking about earlier, and also a Dell 24-inch LCD monitor, as well as a Dell Optiplex computer to go with that monitor. I love this name for a lawn service, Chomp Chomp. Chomp Chomp Lawn Service. Located, yeah, they're located in Longwood. They upgraded a computer of theirs to a new solid-state drive with data transfer. So they made their computer much faster and much more reliable. ENT and Sinus Center purchased an HP microcomputer. We have these little microcomputers for sale at Refresh Computers, and they had it shipped to them in Winter Park, by the way. They didn't have the time to come pick it up. These little microcomputers, Casey, are like 6 inches by 6 inches by an inch and a half.
Wow.
And they do just about everything that a full-size computer can do.
I got to check that out.
They're really, really nice. A lot of people call them TV PCs.
Okay.
Because these are the ones that you'll put behind your TV.
Okay.
Right? So they have Wi-Fi. They got all that built in. And
wow.
You can connect it right to your TV. Get a little wireless keyboard. Boom. Your TV's the monitor.
Done. There you go.
So also one of my favorite auctioneers, Don Dennett. Hello, Don. If you're listening, he came in and he purchased a Dell Optiplex computer, one of the Windows 11 computers, I believe, and some cables. We also had Metro Auto of Orlando. They purchased a RAM upgrade. So we do a lot of RAM upgrades for people as well as solid-state drive upgrades. So you can bring in your computer or laptop and we can upgrade your RAM for you. We have just about every type of RAM in stock that there is. Also, Tender Tots Incorporated. They are a daycare facility located in Castleberry. They purchased one of those Dell Outlet 32-inch monitors that we were talking about earlier. And Casey, I believe that's probably all we have time for.
That's all we have time for today.
And I really appreciate everybody listening in to this edition of Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. Our phone number again is 407-478-8200. Our address is 820 East State Road 434 in Longwood, 3.5 miles off of I-4. And this is David Leavitt signing off for this week. We will talk to you next week.